Aloha, beautiful ladies. Welcome to the Women Unleashed online retreat. My name is Amber Quile Malani Benici, and I am one of your retreat guides and host today. So welcome. Really excited for our experience today. Today, the retreat has been about lots of different things, about nurturing yourself, about tapping into and awakening your feminine power. It's about your creativity, aligning with that and taking action towards what you love. And I know for me, part of what the big picture, what we're doing is we're realigning. We're realigning with what's most important to us. And I think for me, a major part of that alignment is aligning with our purpose, aligning with spirit and diving in. So today we are going to be diving in with our guide, and I'm really excited to introduce her to you in a moment. But just so you know, things that you need for the session today. Make sure you have your journal, any coloring goodies, things you're working with. Today, I'm drinking out of my mermaid cup. I've got some water here I'm drinking. What are you drinking over there, White Eagle?
I was having some, it's what I term baby coffee. It's herbal blend that is non-caffeinated. So that's what I'm drinking all the time. It's Alaska. We have to keep a little bit warmer, you know?
I love it. I've never heard baby coffee before. Baby coffee.
That's for the people that can't handle caffeine like me.
I can't either. I do half caff on whenever I go anywhere. I'm like, half caffeine, please. Bring it down, bring it down. Okay, ladies, so let's go ahead. Before we dive in, let's just get present. That part of the practice is to really just be open to receive. And in order to receive, you have to become present to the messages and what you're meant to hear today. So with me, if you want to just close your eyes for a moment. And anything that's been going on before this session, anything that's on your mind or things that are pulling you back into the past, I would like for you to inhale in and exhale and let that go. And now noticing anything to come, either during this time or what's upcoming, any expectations or worries or thoughts that are, again, pulling you from this moment. Let's inhale in and exhale, let that go. And our third and final breath, inhaling this moment, this time together. Nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. And exhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I get to have the great pleasure of introducing you to our retreat guide today. So you met her when she was talking about her baby coffee, but you're going to get to know her a little bit more now. So White Eagle Medicine Woman, happy to introduce you to her today. She is the founding director and drum keeper of the Grandmother Drum. Behind her, you'll see Grandmother Drum, which is an international peace project and a nonprofit of the Whirling Rainbow Foundation. She's internationally known as a shamanic healer, a seer, a trance medium, author, speaker, teacher, ceremonial and performance artist of Native American and European ancestry. She's also, I know that you also do songs too. Like I have one of your CDs with the different drumming and different songs on it, yeah? Chantress. She's traveled over 1 million miles and touching 1 million people in 20 countries, right? And so part of her mission, what she does is to really promote unity and peace, tribal recognition and reconciliation and earth sustainability. And she brings all her gifts and then is able to transform, right? So she has books that she's put out, like I mentioned, CDs. She is also a drum maker, right? I had the pleasure of doing a drum making workshop with White Eagle Medicine Woman. Gosh, it was probably 5 years ago when she was out here on the Big Island. So she has this project. So over 5,000, imagine over 5,000 drums and 50 community drums, which are these large drums that they create in the community, right? And then she has her giant drum behind her as well. So welcome. So glad to have you here. And I know we're not in Hawaii, but it's like now we get to be here virtually. So it's really kind of fun. So welcome.
Yes. Mahalo nui loa for that wonderful introduction. I so appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you that are coming onto this session today for something a little bit deeper, to go a little bit further within the self today. So our topic with Unleash Women is unleash your soul. Oh my gosh, it's a big word, you know, the soul. We hear it all the time, heart and soul, bare your soul, selling your soul, many terms that we refer to the soul, but we often don't even know what the soul is really all about or its yearnings. And we are at a very, very important time on the planet that the grandmothers and grandfathers that I have been channeling and working with for the last 35 years have really pointed to this period of time and coming onto that soul path. And I'm going to speak to that in a few moments. But before we even begin, I think it's important, as you just did with the breath, is for us to drop a little bit from that everyday bustle that we're all in, especially as women. We are multitasking, kids, job, you know, yoga, this, that, and the other, and taking care of partners. So it's our 40 minutes. It's our time together. So let's take this moment to remember that when we work with the soul, there's a little bit of ritual involved. Because when we do ritual of any kind, and it's as simple as lighting a candle. And when we light a candle, we start to say to our spirit, to our soul, something else is more special going to happen here. And in our native tradition, lighting sage, as Amber's doing right now. Maybe you have incense. Maybe you even have a nice smelling essential oil. But it doesn't have to be a lot, but it has to be something that you're willing to do to say, I'm going to shift now onto a different plane of existence. I'm going to be communicating with my soul. So what is the soul? That's the big question I hear people asking. I mean, what is this soul? You have three purposes that we want to be able to open to now. Our higher purpose. That's what we chose to incarnate to learn. So what are my lessons this lifetime? What am I here to learn? That's known as my higher purpose because I have to receive that. And we're going to go into the Native American medicine wheel today. It's going to be very, very powerful. This is a North teaching. Receiving, it's an air element. Receiving the mind of God, goddess. Okay, that's our higher purpose, what we're here to receive, to learn. This is the visionary in us that gets visions. What we're here to give to the world, Native people call your giveaway, is what I'm here to give is my life purpose. Okay? So we've got the higher purpose. I'm going to learn something while I'm here, maybe several things, but there's a key to that. And we're looking for that key when we make this statement. And in our Soul Codes program, that is more of 10 weeks long of this work, we go into that higher purpose very detailed, and we go into how do we script a life purpose. They're just one sentence, but they're very potent when they're written. The life purpose, what we're here to give. And here today, we're here to unleash the soul purpose. What is the soul purpose? Well, first we have to ask, what is the soul? And the grandmothers described it in many ways. There you are on the big island, Amber, and you have the word kahuna. The word ka in Egypt or in Hawaii is soul. So kahuna is the soul of the huna, the soul of the secret teachings. In the light body that we call the Merkaba, the ka is the soul, is the light vehicle. And so if we want to look at the human as a vehicle, that it really is, here's how it would look. Spirit is the driver. The soul is the vehicle. The heart is the engine. And the body is the vessel, or the body of the car. If you can picture this as a car, you could say the frame of the car. The spirit is housed in the soul vehicle. So we need to understand the soul. And I think the best description and the most powerful way we can look at that is knowing that the soul is an immortal vehicle traveling lifetime to lifetime. This is incredible because this means we are gathering enormous database. The soul is like the internet. It truly is. It has acquired from lifetime and ancestry and bloodlines that we come from just in this life so many skills and abilities. So the soul is about the talents, natural abilities, like the natural artist, the natural healer. That's because we came in with those gifts. We want to tap those resources. And that becomes our service. So what we're here to learn, what we're here to give, and our service all come together in that holy trinity of the purposes. So let's begin by I'm going to give you some information from the grandmothers about the time that we're living in. So we can put it into context, and then we're going to take off onto the soul vehicle. The grandmothers spoke about this in probably a decade ago to me when they launched me around the world with this 7-foot crystal inlaid drum. I mean, I have been renamed Indiana Jane for going around the world with this crazy 2,000-pound heartbeat to unify people, to get people onto their soul. So that's what I want to start you with, is the heartbeat. Because when we hear the drum, it is the first sound we heard coming into this life. It is the first breath of our intention to incarnate and become that first pulse in our mother's womb. It's this feminine sound. And when we hear the drum, and it's one of the only instruments I know of that if it's in a public place or in your house, people feel free to pick it up and touch it. If you had a violin or a guitar there, they probably wouldn't feel so comfortable doing that. But the drum is everyone. It's accessible to everyone because we all have a heart. And so I'm going to guide you in a breath work that we're going to do at the heart and then at the area that we're going to focus on today, which is our creative center as women, our womb or our navel. One of the most powerful places of the soul connects to our emotional body. So we're going to focus on that. We could focus on many aspects of the soul today, but that one we're going to go. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to teach you the breath of aloha, or the ha breath, but extended. It's called Ishtaba, or the breath of eternal life. This accesses all chambers of the heart, and then when we do it in the navel, all aspects of the soul. And so I'm going to introduce that breath to you. And it's one of the most powerful ways if you have arrhythmia, if you have high blood pressure, if you're hot flashing, to calm the heart and the soul. And maybe we can call this rocking your soul, you know, in the expressions of the soul. So I'm going to bring out this beautiful crystal drum that is one of my favorite 20-inch drums. We make these in ceremonies all summer long. You can come up with us. We're going to be doing lots of movement work, lots of work with all different shamanic instruments and how to awaken the soul through those. So I'm going to introduce even the instruments to you today. So let's do that. I'm going to grab my drum, my hand drum. Since grandmother drum would probably blow out the circuits of this today.
Right? It's like, oh, and it's like,
yeah. Yeah, we'll be shaking you from one side to the other. So I'd like you to begin. The ha breath is one of these effortless breaths, okay? It goes from the back of the heart in the beginning to the front. And when we do this, we open the central nervous system, and it's one of the most relaxing breaths there is. This isn't dynamic, heavy breathing stuff. This is very gentle, so subtle that it gets in places in the heart to soften the heart that we're hardened. We close our heart, we get hurt, whatever, and these places are pretty resistant to heavy invasions of breath. But this subtle breath can get in there and release some of that tension. So this breath of aloha, known as the mana breath, is breathed in as if we could breathe in from the back of the heart now and out through the front. So your first breath, you might want to just close your eyes for a moment and take that deep breath in, but not straining, and just, that's why it's known as the ha breath. It's just the sound we make when we've eaten good food or we've made good love. The nourishing breath. And on the second breath, I'd like you to try it from the front of your heart now to the back. And again, you can just imagine this. Sometimes we physically can't do it right away, but your intent is everything. The next breath, breathing in as if you could breathe in from the left side of your heart and out the right. Next breath, in through the right chamber of the heart and out the left. The next, in from the base, as if you could breathe up from the center of the earth, up through the center of the heart, and then exhaling out the crown of the head. And the final one, breathing in from the crown of the head, all the way down the center of the heart, and back down to the core of the earth, grounding you back into the present moment. This is the Ishtaba. It works on the 4 chambers of the heart. So let's try it one more time, breathing in from the back of the heart, out the front, and then the front to the back. From the left to the right, from the right to the left, from the bottom to the top. And now the top to the bottom. The breath of eternal life, balancing the 4 chambers of the heart. You may notice one part of the heart is more open than the other. And please just make note of that, because we're going to be speaking to exactly those chambers of the heart today as we move into this heart and soul work together. Beautiful. I can already feel we're in a very different space. And from that space, we can start our journey. Now, in our busy lives, it's hard to always find time to ask those deeper questions and to nourish our soul. And so what is coming today, and in this Soul Codes program of Unleash Your Soul, is what the grandmothers and grandfathers were saying about this time that we're in. And I want to introduce that now, because that sets the stage really for where we're going. Up until 2012, and why I got called back in 2004 and 2005, it started in 1999 when the grandmother said, "We are midwives at the new millennium, birthing the ring of fire." And I was like, grandmothers of the new millennium birthing the ring of fire. They asked me to travel to all the areas of the geologic ring of fire to activate those areas with grandmother drum as an acupuncture needle through vibration to awaken that area, because that was the area where the soul energy, or the solar energy, you can look up NASA to find that out, is we're getting more solar flaring. So this energy is coming into the ring of fire, And thank you, beloved Pele of the islands, and centered in the heart chakra of the Big Island, and moving us into the next stage of going from Homo sapien to Homo luminous. What does this mean? This means we're going from our reality being framed in the third dimension, people, places, pension plans, practical life, into a spiritual calling of the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is our soul. The fifth dimension and beyond is our spirit, our light body, housed in the fourth dimensional soul vehicle to then manifest in the third dimension. So they were indicating that we were birthing a new humanity, or as Eckhart Tolle says, the new earth. What does it mean, the new earth? It means that we're going to be resonating at the soul level of Mother Earth. And when we talk about earth sustainability, which is a big subject across the planet right now, it ties directly to soul sustainability. It's a different word we're going to go in on today. So they said up until 2012, we were going to be working on completing and closing an epoch. And this was primarily to complete past lives and paybacks of karma that we wrought on the planet, so that we could move up into this higher frequency and ask ourselves, what's my higher purpose? What's my soul purpose? People can no longer get away with selling their soul for money and doing things for a pension plan. Something is missing, and humanity knows it. And so this question is now only really coming up, and we had it just kind of starting in the 90s with all the Seed of the Soul book and many, many people that were starting to talk about nurturing the soul or foods for the soul, because we were now finally questioning, why did we really come here? So they said up until 2012, we would be completing some of that karma, some relationships that we were doing, some jobs that we were doing, and we needed to begin to hear the pulse. And they said, grandmother drum, take it to as many people as possible, because that pulse will tell them, like a compass going through the chaos and the clutter of a material world, to find our soul again. This isn't something your left brain wraps around, your soul purpose. But what it does do is you find your life amazingly interesting, and you have to find your life interesting. If you don't find your life exciting and interesting, I find mine humorous and exciting, then you're not on your soul purpose yet. It's got to ignite you. It's not just, well, it works for me, it's okay, you know, it's convenient. No, it's like Amber, she's doing this morning, noon, and night, right? We're breathing because it's our soul. Yeah. So they gave us 3 grace years, and those leaves, you know, the spring buds have to push them off. So some of you are, you know, a little resistant about letting go of those past patterns, and it's just that they were complete. You know, some people go, oh, it was negative, and, you know, it was the bad, you know, journey from, no, you had to do that. That was part of your growth, probably part of your higher purpose of what you were here to learn. But now we're being calibrated right onto the new earth with our soul mission. Boop, we're vibrating. So now 2016 and 2017 are the first pulse of the new earth. So what a great thing to put unleash women and unleash your soul at this point, because this is the moment to ask those questions. If you've not asked them, or you're not already on that path, and even if you are on your true soul path, wait till you see some dynamic things that you can use today that's going to ignite you to balance your energy better, to use what we call the 5 shields of the soul in order to bring your whole self online. It's kind of like the hokey pokey, you know, you put your whole self in. And there's parts of us that are not online, and then we wonder, well, how come, you know, I'm doing what I love, but I'm not that abundant yet? And it has to do with these soul drivers, and we're going to talk about them today. I'm going to introduce you to the program, Soul Codes of the New Earth. And on this day, I'm just going to show you. So I need you to get yourself a piece of paper, because we're going to do some drawing for a moment. I'm going to put my drum back down for the second. And I just drew one myself, you know, just kind of any kind of little outline of a human body. It doesn't matter if it's a stick figure, everyone. Just give me a nice drawing, because and we're going to open the 10 eyes and ears of the soul. We always know that these eyes, our human eyes, are known as the windows to the soul, right? But they said you have 10 eyes on your body, all geared to activate your soul. So we want to give you the 10 eyes and the 5 ears on the human body. So you got a lot of eyes to see, and not just the human eyes. So let's just put them on there. Now, of course, this is a 10-week program. We're not going to be able to go into each eye today, but we are going to focus on one of them. And it's going to be really exciting because we're going to bring in some instruments, some art. But let's start just on there for the first moment. As you know that you have 2 human eyes. So why don't we draw them in? Just put a right and left eye there. These are known in the Celtic, which is my other heritage. I'm a mutt like many people, mixed blood Native American, so I have many, many colors, many shades. And the eyes as the window to the soul was used in shamanic work called the gaze, where we look deeply, deeply into the soul. This is done with a soft gaze. And when we do that, we can actually see the face change and morph. And we can often see past lives on the face. We can see inner children if we're in a wound space. We can see a lot when we work with the gaze. We can also look at auras through the gaze, and that's a whole nother story about the soul, the 5 layers of the aura. So let's go, where's the next eye? Does anybody have a clue? I mean, where another eye would be?
Well, we talked about the third eye.
Third eye, so let's put that one, okay? The third eye is known as the eye of Mat, or the eye of Shiva, or the eye of Horus. So this one is a very, very powerful one. It sees the spirit world. That's what its job is. It sees the spirit world. Okay, we know those 3. What else do we have?
Are you asking me?
Yes! Well, nobody else can answer.
Am I getting quizzed? Okay. Okay. Think of some places. So I'm thinking the hands, like the palms of your hands.
Exactly, the right and left hand. Left hand is to affirm what is. It receives and it affirms what it sees. And again, I'm not going to be able to spend time on all of this. Each one has breath work. Each one has dynamic movement work. And I want to remind you, just as we're listing them, that if you have a problem with any parts of these, like we have a woman on our course from Australia who had a major left foot problem. And when she found out what the left foot soul was all about, boy, did she have her epiphany and is doing the work now. And she's a great healer herself. Okay, so when we find out about these areas of the body, then we can go, wow, that's been an issue for me. Then I have some tracking tools. That's what we call it in Native America, stalking and tracking. It's like animal tracking. We stalk and track our experiences. Because what I'm going to give you today, if I don't give you a way to track it, then it's not usable. So we're going to track today, particularly on one eye. So the left and right hand. If you've ever seen Shakti or Nataraj, the Eastern statue of the dancer, they usually have a different thing in each hand and foot. And this is part of the teachings of the soul. The right hand sees the design of energy of something. It's the sender. When we do healing work, this is how we send healing to someone, is through the right hand. We pick up what's going on with the left hand and we send with the right hand. But that's only one layer of those eyes. So if we have them on the hands, where else do we have them?
Yeah, I got the hint when you said that someone had a foot problem and it was about an eye. I'm like, oh, the feet.
Yes, so we have a left foot eye and a right foot eye. Now these tie directly to the eye we're going to focus on today, which is the navel, or what's called the soul vine eye. One of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, in the human energy field. This is our gut as women. This is our women's intuition, one of the most powerful places. and the strongest. Why? We say the third eye is very powerful. It's our seer. It's the matching to this chakra in our 7 chakras in the human body. If you're familiar with those energy wheels in the body, we have the root matching the crown, the third eye matching the navel. So when women say, I don't see visions, but I get a feeling, this is women's third eye. We are stronger in this because we are more earthbound. The male energy is more sky-oriented. It's every chakra above the heart, and that is a different thing. So women, because we birth, we are more powerful in that chakra. Okay, so the soul vine connects these 2 legs, and in those 2 legs, we find out our direction. So the right and left foot eyes are called the dream walk eyes. One is I have to go into my soul records, which is my past history, all of my vehicle, my lineage, my past lives, my resources, to get my instructions from my soul of what I have to come forward in my purpose with, which is my right foot. Okay, in Native America, we do what's called the medicine dance, and that's a dance that they do in the wintertime in Canada. They go counterclockwise, okay? And it's all about this left foot. It's going back into the ancestry. That's what my left foot is about. It's about my history. It's my feminine. It's my what's under my feet, as my ancestors are the soil under my feet. And my right foot is known as my design of energy. That's my forward assignment once I get the cue from my left. The feminine always guides the masculine. We have to receive it from spirit, and then we can bring it forward. So it's that receptivity to get our spirit personality to give our direction. So you got your right and left foot eyes. Now we mentioned the next one, which is the navel or the soul vine eye. And that's the one we're going to focus on for the rest of this once I finish giving you the 10. Then we have a very interesting pair of eyes that haven't been mentioned. They're actually, they count them as one eye in this teachings, but they're 2 different. One is the heart eye, the eye of the heart, which again, for women, the navel and the heart are what we call positive chakras in women. Okay? Men and women have opposite attraction because their chakras are opposite. So men's first chakra is positive. It sticks out, we know that, and ours is internal. So we receive through that area. Second chakra, we're the birthing. So we're positive there, they're negative. Third chakra, which is our power center, our I am, men are positive. This is why men have an easier time being in their power in the world. Women have to really make that effort to step over the edge to bring that chakra forward. But where, and I'm going to use a word here, maybe it's going to be rated R or something, but woman's penis is her heart. That's what she is the giver of. She gives to man through this. She is the essence of love. So the heart is always forgiving. The grandmothers say that's a really powerful use of the word. It's a giver, okay? It doesn't forsake or partake, it's the giver, the heart eye. So whatever we're seeing, even if it's ugly and somebody challenges us and somebody rejects us, and boy, did I get a ton of that on this world tours. I got attacked by every different group. And I had to love anyway. Because if I don't take that personally, then I can just love those people in that, set my boundaries where needed, but the heart stays open, okay? So the heart eye is meant to love everything and only focus on what is working. Matching that heart eye is one that we never talk about, but we always talk about. And that is called the animal eye. It's right about here on the back of our neck, right at the base. That's where the hair stands up on the back of, oh, my hair is standing up on the back of my head. This is where we pick up danger. This is where we really connect with our animal ancestry. And this helps us for personal danger, psychic danger, but many times it's an illusion. You know, it's our fears. Oh, people are attacking me, or they're psychically attacking me, or they don't like, and a lot of times it's our own fears. So the heart eye is meant to say, as soon as you feel that, stop, turn around, and face it with your heart eye. Okay? And again, this is a very, very tiny, tiny bit of this program, just skimming the surface, just to give you the eyes now. And then we have mentioned everything now except for one more eye. And that is the eye at the top of the head. It's not the crown chakra that most people would assume it would be. It's a little bit forward of that. It's known as the dragon's eye or the unicorn horn. It's why we actually have the mythical being of the unicorn. This is the pyramid of light from the pituitary, pineal, and optic nerve forms this triangle. And when that moves us up in ascension, it pierces our auric egg. We're in a big egg. And that's our enlightenment. So that horn really represents that. They said that this point alone can rolf or align the entire body. If our neck is properly over, it can align our entire body. They called it the G spot in the brain. Don't you love it? Grandmothers always give us some juicy stuff, right? So that is just a surface of where we're going, not including the 5 ears of the soul, which I'm not even going to touch on right now. But this program really helps us to activate and enliven the soul through all of this, through breath work, through movement, through music. So that's something that's going to be available to all of you to deepen the work we're going to do today, in addition to what I'm going to give you for free, which is one of the lessons. So I want to focus today a little bit on this eye, right there, that navel eye. And I'm going to teach you something in psychology, in shamanic healing, in New Age consciousness. We're just coming to, which is really exciting. So I want you to draw a circle like a navel. You know, we're going to draw a medicine wheel. Here's what it looks like. Just maybe not this fancy, but just a circle of life with the 4 directions. And we're going to focus on activating 5 archetypes today that you can use to track your soul. It's all about tracking now. We call these the soul drivers. These are the ones that put our soul purpose into action, really. And when we're weak in one of them, it's just like having pistons in an engine when you only have 3 pistons working. You can't really climb that hill. I mean, it's that kind of thing. So you don't have the energy to do your vision. So we're going to go into this nice 4-directional wheel, and we're going to bring some questions for your journaling. So in psychology, you remember, we got into this space where everybody suddenly had an epiphany that they had an inner child, right? We all went, wow, you know, and we all went to therapy for our inner child, right? And the problem with it, it was a great step. It was a great step because in shamanism, in Native American shamanism, we've always had the 5 shields. And we work in ceremony to activate them, to strengthen them, to initiate ourselves, to expand into new levels of those archetypes. But they've never been in traditional therapies. And more people are doing shamanic healing because it's more holistic. It's not analytical from here, but it's dealing with the whole self. And here's the whole self. I deal with people that have schizophrenia, okay? Told they have multiple personalities. They say, come see me, we all have multiple personalities. They just are disassociating and they're not coming together. That's the problem. It's not that you have 5 personalities, because we all have 5 personalities, and here we go. We're going to work with each of them now. So the inner child was always speaking. If I was a girl, right, it spoke to my little girl because I'm a woman. But I never knew that I had a little boy as well. Okay, so that was one-sided. And so we went in there, and a lot of times our little child, because the female child is the emotional, she's that element, so she's the one that was always feeling all this emotion, and then the mother would have to go in and nurture that little inner child part, and we would be in a circle, and we'd never get out of that circle. The boy shield would have brought us out of that and moved us on, because our boy shield does not want to sit there and cry. He just doesn't. He wants to take some action. So we come into that. Then there was a whole wave, right, of inner man, inner woman. We all realized we have an inner man and inner woman. And then we got more information, but it still wasn't complete. The soul drivers are 5. And they are inner man, inner woman, inner boy, inner girl, and the grandparent shield, or the higher self shield, however you understand that. That one's more androgynous. People say to me, well, when you channel the grandmothers and grandfathers, is that really yourself? And I said, possibly. Might be my oversoul that's speaking through me. So that's our highest self that we can consciously access. That place is the center here. That doesn't really look like a belly button, but let's say that that's the belly button on our drawing. We're going to draw a nice circle and a bullseye in the middle. That's the navel. So that is our grandmother, grandfather shield. We're going to, for our purposes, we're going to call her whirling rainbow woman. Okay? It's because when I talk to you in future, I'm like, how's it going with the whirling rainbow woman in you? Okay, so we just work with that archetype. This is the driver. Remember I said the spirit is the driver, the soul is the vehicle, the heart is the engine, the body is the vessel. So now we're working with the driver. In shamanic healing, we call this the determiner. It's spirit who determines our life, not our pocketbook, not our mind, not our sexuality, not our things, but spirit. So some questions that you can go in on to begin to develop a relationship with Whirling Rainbow Woman, one of the main soul drivers, because the information comes from spirit to our soul vehicle. And each lifetime, our spirit takes on a new personality for that mission that our soul needs to accomplish. So, okay, and I'm going to use I words because I like things that are 4 R's or, you know, this kind of thing. So this is the I words. Ignition. What awakens your inner light? What uplifts your spirit? What do you do daily to expand your consciousness? These are spirit questions now. This is the Whirling Rainbow Woman questions. And what's your relationship to the goddess within? And for me, it's not about the answers. This is for your exploration. This is the beginning of why we lit this candle, why we smudged. It's like going into a deeper relationship. And the final question, when did you last experience a spiritual awakening? So this is wonderful for journaling, for drawing, just to begin to bring Whirling Rainbow Woman. She is at the very center of your navel. When we were born, we were assembled to our mother through this umbilicus. It's the balance point, or the hara in the body, H-A-R-A, as they say in the East. And in the very center of it, we were born completely enlightened and saw everything as it really was when we were born. But we weren't conscious yet of it. And that center of the navel is grandmother, grandfather shield. And when all of our shields move into that center point, then we are a force to be reckoned with. Wait until I give you the other shields and wait until you see how they come in around this center shield. We'll say, as long as I have my high self, I'm good. No, you need all of them. You're in a body, you need all of them. It's like tools in a toolbox. You need the hammer, you need the screwdriver, you need the saw. You know, I'm about practical medicine. So we start in the top of this wheel is the north. And we could literally, I could lay this wheel right on my navel. You see that? And so it would be above my belly button, okay? In this little space, and in fact, this drawing is almost perfect, size that I made printed out, because that 2 inches, or a little less than 2 inches, is exactly where the baby kicks to signal labor. This is one of our most powerful points for women in the body. It's our woman shield as women. The north-south axis in the body, we have our east-west and our north-south, is who we are in the world. So for a woman, the north shield is always her woman shield, because that's what she is. Now a man, it would be his man shield. The north would be his man shield. So for us, I'm calling her Eagle Woman because, you know, that's my medicine. It's related to the mind. It's related to air and breath work. And this area is the receiver, the psychic receiver, and it's right above the navel, okay? And we're talking about the navel because the navel is the essence of the soul, really, because that's how we got assembled in the beginning to our mother. We got assembled through that cord, and that has all of our assignments in it. And you learn more about that in the soul codes. You get the whole picture of that. But let's stay with Eagle Woman. What's the I word here? Inspiration. This is our greatest visions, our greatest dreams of ourselves. We're meant to receive that vision. I never planned to travel the world with Grandmother Drum. It was given to me. It was not in my consciousness at all. We're here to receive our vision, not to micromanage our mind to determine our vision. We receive it from our spirit. Our spirit is giving the instruction. God is giving the instruction. Goddess, however you understand that. And the North Shield is meant to receive it fully, hear it fully. And when I told you, many women come and say, I need spiritual guidance, but they don't because they have gotten it. What they need is the next shield. They don't need this shield. They've got this. I have women telling me they get visions all the time and images and guidance and bells and whistles, fourth dimension, and they're living off planet. They're living in that dream world, but they're not manifesting it in this world. Okay? We can't really function fully unless all of the pistons are working, all the soul drivers are working. So inspiration. The question that I go in with is what inspired me today. Who are my role models? Because who inspires me? Yeah. What do you receive when you're in silence and meditation? What guidance are you receiving? Are you journaling that? Are you writing those things down? Because every day you ask questions. When am I going to get this? And when is this going to? And Spirit is trying, through your soul, is going, hey, I'm here. And one of the 10 signs from the soul is the Holy Trinity, that something shows up 3 times. The book falls from the shelf, you get an email, you bump into somebody on the road, an animal crosses your path on the trail, and all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, there's 4 signs. I had a couple the other day about where I am in my own journey, about the next step for me, and I've been seeing birthed animals, little baby moose, and little baby this, and they're tripping and falling, and you know, they're just out here in Alaska, the little moose. And I'm like, they're for me, I must be stumbling right now. It's so cute, it's so adorable. And I can take what's going on for me in a whole different context, because that was the visual that kept coming to me. So we receive that vision and we take it seriously when we get the messages. We don't go, well, that's kind of a coincidence. No, synchronicity is the way of the soul. It's trying to get your attention. Pay attention. And then you're going to be asked, take a step on that message now. So let's stay here for a moment more. When was the last time you made time to be alone in silence and meditation? And what is the greatest vision that you have of your soul purpose? Storyboard it, play with it. And you're going to get a ton more from me on this 10 messages from your soul coming. So that's our north questions. That's our woman shield as woman. Now let's move around like a clock to the east. Dragon woman. The word that is so unique in Native America and in most indigenous people I've spent time with around the world is a very different understanding of challenge. This dragon woman represents the East, fire, creativity, sexuality, expansion, taking new risks, seize the day, wake up and say, yes, I'm going to show up to that guidance today. I got 3 messages that I'm supposed to go to that meeting. I don't know where I'm going. Just go to the meeting. You only need to know the next step. When we drive cross country, our headlights can only see 100 yards in front of us, but we are going to get to the other side of the country. So we only need a few pieces to move forward. Okay? So Dragon Woman connects us with the Native American understanding, which I love, of initiation, the I word. Westerner goes, I'm a victim. Why did this happen to me? Native people saying, I'm being initiated into the next highest level of my capability. They see it as an initiation. When I first brought the grandmother drum forward in my community, and I was near Anchorage at the time, because I'm a mixed blood and I look extremely white, obviously, and I said, I got this vision. I thought everybody's going to love it, right? I went and they said, go get the elders of all the indigenous tribes locally, get their blessing, get them to pray for the project, get the local support. So I went to each of the Athabascan tribes, and almost all of them came behind the project but one. And the man said, we don't want any white people stealing our culture. So I went through this enormous setback. And I went to my Tlingit elder, who was one of our elders, and I said, you know what, I got this vision, but I could give it to somebody who looks more native than I do, so I don't upset anybody, and it's all good, I can be behind the scenes, it's not a problem. He said, you're weak-hearted. This is the teaching of the East. Each one of them is a chamber of the heart. So this is part of the heart and soul connection now. The North is the clear heart because it's about getting clarity on our vision. The East is the warrior in us, the warrioress, the dragon woman. She has the courage to be who she is. She has a backbone. She can stand up for her guidance because she got her guidance from Source. So she's not at the effect of what everybody else thinks of her. So I tried to make myself smaller in that moment. It's one of my most powerful teaching moments in the beginning of my journey. I got attacked for years, but this was the first one, and I was just on my knees, quivering. And he said, you're weak-hearted, lacking the courage to be who you are. You were given the vision. They weren't given the vision. You were given the vision. You don't know if you have, until you're in hot water, he said. you don't know if you have any real medicine. You go forward and you put your chin up. Yeah. So, and that was a big challenge for me. I was very introverted as a person overall. And if somebody didn't like it, and then I would be, backing down. And so I had to stand up. So this is about the backbone. We call them the bones of the soul. This is the backbone. And there are bones in each one. The wishbone is our north one, our wishes and dreams. So this one is very, very important. And how do we connect shamanically with this power? Right here. The East. Why the rattle? First instrument we're given when we're born in every part of the world. Calling our spirit into our body this lifetime to have courage. To not walk on water, but to walk on the earth with courage to be who we are. So this instrument is given to us in Native American, and one bead is put in for our soul's commitment, our true name. And that baby rattles it to bring its essence here and say that, it's easy in the spirit world, but then you're going to be in the physical and people aren't going to like you, and you're going to have to work the medicine. So this instrument is a soul retrieval instrument to reconnect us with our original purpose. It's one of the shamanic instruments.
Wait, Eagle, I'm loving I'm soaking it all up, drinking it all in. I'm mindful of time. And so I'm like, I want to, just check in, but because I want to keep getting questions and find where we're at, but I just wanted to kind of do a little time check with you.
Okay, so what do we have? So we know we'll fit this in, we'll stretch time to fit it in that we need. So where do we want to go? We have 10 minutes, we have 5 minutes, what do we have?
Let's do about 10 more minutes, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's move from dragon woman now to serpent woman, south teaching, water element. The word I is intuition. This is always focusing on what is. The heart is always forgiving. So let's look at some of those questions. What touched me today? That's very important. That connects me to my feelings. What's my woman's intuition? What's my intuitive hit on this? Whenever we talk about the intuition, we're talking about that south. And that south shield is our girl shield as women. That's below the navel. That's when we have that indigestion or we have menstrual cramps. That's girl shield work. Okay? Listen to the messages from your soul today. This is the one that listens. What's your inner sense? What are you doing daily to rewrite and share your story? It's sort of about storytelling. And I can tell myself as a victim or the heroine of my journey. And there was a book that came out, I'm sure you saw it, Amber, Loving What Is. It was a great book. It was like a playbook. And this teaching is all about focusing on what is and not what isn't. Because we can all make a list of ain't it awfuls. But it's about always finding the goodness. That's what elders do so exquisitely, in my opinion. It's like, oh, you're such a good boy and such a good girl. Look at you. Right? When we were growing up, our parents, oh, it's just stuff that, But our grandparents were like, so the grandparent is the one that gives us that. So this is always focusing, telling my story. When did you stop telling your story? This is all about talking circle and sharing like we're doing, sharing our story. Very important part of the journey. Instrument is the drum. Connects us with our intuition. So it's always, the south teaching is always, or the south shield. So we've got some to work with there. And then let's move right on then to our west shield. Now the east of Dragon Woman, that's our boy shield. That's our inner boy. He's fearless. He wants freedom. He doesn't want limitation. He wants to be who he is. That's the part of us that doesn't care what anybody else thinks. And when women get too much into caring about what everyone thinks before they take action, her boy shield needs to be a bit stronger. And we do a whole 4-hour session that I do with people to balance their shields. It's an amazing process. You only need to do it once, and then you'll have the tools forever. So I offer that because I'm the only one that has put this together that's not just inner man or this side or just the inner child, but the whole composite has to be strong. So our West, or wolf woman, is our man shield as women. And the word is imagination. Imagine the form. This is about the earth element. The West is where the sun sets. It's internal, it's grounded. So this is about the state of conscious calm. That's what we call grounding. What surprised me today, this is where the home of surprise, the unexpected. What form did something take that was different than I had planned? I tell the story that when I was returning from Israel with Grandmother Drum, I'd done everything in my instructions, and at the end we didn't have enough money to fly Grandmother Drum home in 2009. Then $5,000 we needed, and I said to my tour manager, take that drum to the airport. She said, what are you doing? You don't have any money. And I said, I did everything. I showed up for my guidance. I followed this medicine wheel of teachings. They must have a plan. Take it to the airport. And within that hour, a woman who had seen me speak a year before in a film, when our film won an award in Israel for the top spiritual films, she said to me, I will sponsor this program to come to Israel. Well, she never contacted me. And at this moment, she called. Right as I'm flying out, she missed the entire thing. And she said, you know, I was going to help you with that project. And I said, oh, that's nice, it's over. But, you know, what did you like to give? You know, and she said, I have 25,000 shekels. That was $5,000. I said, send it to the freight company. I'm on my way to the airport. This is the level of trust. It didn't come in the form I was going to, but I showed up 100% without attachment. This is the Buddhist teaching of non-attachment. I show up 100%, but I also let go that my plan, that spirit might have a better design than I could even think of. Okay. So what surprised me today, what actual steps, physical steps, did you take to ground that guidance today? What's the one step you need to take that you're not taking? You know, sometimes we take every other step but the one that's needed, right? So what is that one step you need to take? What beliefs limit or expand you to dream big? To dream the impossible dream? And another one that would be much more of a traditional Native question is, when did you stop dancing? Because it connects us to our walk of life. Our north is, when did you stop spending time in silence? Our east is, when did you stop singing? And we do that in the coming program of your soul song. This is very, very powerful. In Africa, before a child's even conceived, they listen for its soul song. They sing it all during the pregnancy, all during the labor, all during the child's life, and every time the child goes through a major initiation, that song is sung. Do you know your soul song? It's something that we don't even connect to. Same in Canada. They do the same thing. They have a ritual for when you receive your soul song. And we're going to be doing that work here in Alaska this summer. We're going to be doing a whole 2-week program where people are going to go through all of this. So it's really exciting. So dancing connects us with that. So what is the instrument? Remember, we saw the rattle in the east. The opposite is, once we bring that vision down to our feet, is the foot rattle. fit bells. That's what these are used for traditionally. Grounding my vision in practical steps. Walking the mystical path with practical feet. You know, everybody wants this woo-woo, but you got to bring it down. You figured out a way to make it happen, Amber, to make your dream come true, to manifest it, to be able to financially support your family from your work. This is the grounding of the vision. So these shamanic instruments, and the one that I missed was our north one. When we get our vision in the north, clear as a bell. The bell is about our calling from spirit. So these are the 4 shamanic instruments we work with. And it was maybe 2 years ago, I was going through a bunch of questions in my own soul work, and the grandmother said, "You'll hear the bells." And literally, I was in Austria in a small town, and someone said something to me, and the church bell started to ring, and I went, that was my message. So pay attention to the shamanic instruments, because they are the ones that help us enact that. They are literally bringing that medicine in. And we know that because bells have always called meditations, woke us up to our spirit. So these are, again, whirling rainbow woman, the center. Our north, our woman shield, eagle woman. Then I have to have courage in the east, my dragon or warrioress woman, the courage to be who I am, my boy shield. The south, then I have to pay attention always to what has heart and meaning. Pay attention to only focus on loving what is, forgiving, giving love to everything I see, no matter what it is, and shaping my soul purpose. West, grounded in practical steps. Wolf woman, 4-legged, being able to be on the ground, walking it, dancing it. And so you can see of all of the arts that you do, Amber, that singing, dancing, stories, and silence are the tracking tools to the 4 or 5, including the center, shields as soul drivers. And if they're not all online, then come to me. I will help you with that. It's called Balancing the Shield. It's a very dynamic 2 to 4 hour session that we're going to literally put chairs out for each one, and we're going to do the work in each area. We're going to find out where the blocks are, bring those guys online so that you can actually have your full power to go forward. And this is just one aspect of the soul vine eye that we've been focusing on, the navel eye.
Yeah.
Great spirit eye.
I'm like going, oh my gosh, there's like so much like, ah. Okay, I have to tell you, because I know like my listeners are here with me. There's one puka here, like there's one space. We did Dragon Woman, but we didn't get the questions for Dragon Woman. So I would love if you could share Dragon Woman questions.
Okay, so we said what challenged me today, because it's always about challenges and things that bring us out of our comfort zone and help us to expand.
Okay.
The West is integration. It's more grounding. This one's expansion, more ideas creatively. What do you really want to create? What new starts can you take to show up for your soul guides today? What's the new starts? What new learnings, sometimes we have to take a class, or risks will help you expand. And when was the last time you sang your soul song? And the connection with singing, we always say, when did you stop singing? That's a very, very big question in Native America, when you lost your voice. And that usually means some emotional healing is connected to the voice, where you lost your power. Mm-hmm.
This is so beautiful. So I'm excited. I can like already see like areas, just even from women that I talk to, I can already see like, oh, that's the point they need to activate, or that's the point that, is, being lacking as far as feeling out of balance. So I love that you're talking about being able to like balance people out with their shields. And I'm like, I love my little gingerbread man soul soul eyeball person.
Great, I love it.
Yeah, my gingerbread man. There's so much like I feel like just like so first of all, we're going to talk just you've already mentioned on and off through like about your free gift, but I love that like you're taking like really one of them, which is like our navel point, and you're like going to totally dive in. And so you're giving pretty much you're giving like you have the course where you go through the 10 things, and you're giving like one whole section to our community, which I just think is like so absolutely generous. And I'm pumped up because if you can activate your center, it's like there's so much power and creativity, and it's just like boom. So I love that you're gifting that to the women, and then people can experience and see, what's lit up for them if they're really feeling in alignment and feeling the calling to continue work. There's so many fun ways, cool ways to work with you, including like the longer program. But I would love if you wanted to share was there anything more that you want to share about the program or about the gift really that you're offering?
Well, the gift is one of the lessons. So you got, part of the eye of the navel, because this is a deep one. We're going to do more on 8/8 with this journey work into the soul vine. It's going to be exciting. And we're also going to do it this summer in what's called the ISIS initiation, where women are going to claim it fully in their Akashic records. So it's a really nice thing that we have several steps that people can step into depending upon how much time they have, whether they want to come to Alaska. We are the highest house in Homer. Our center overlooks the bay. It's quite beautiful. And we'll have a 2-week program here this summer called the Drum Keepers and Song Keepers Training. So we'll be using all of this in that. But the online program that you can take internationally from anywhere, it's Soul Codes of the New Earth. It's right on our website under courses. You'll see it. And this one you'll be getting as a free lesson that's coming just after this call is one that I gifted you, the 10 ways our soul speaks to us. So 10 messages from your soul. One of them that we mentioned today was the Holy Trinity, when you get those 3 messages. That's only one of 10 ways that our soul is speaking to us daily. People think they have to go on some 3-month retreat to get their spiritual purpose. But it's every day, every moment. Spirit is responding, your soul is responding if you just pay attention. So we're going to give you ways to unleash and recalibrate paying attention to those things, because again, we're moving from that superficial, like I got to pay the bills, to our soul purpose. And when we come from that level, then paying the bills will be automatic. Like we don't have to worry about that. We're coming from source then, instead of when the Bible said, when you fall from grace, when you forget who you really are, you're going to sweat by the toil of your brow. You're going to work hard for your money. And when you're in your soul purpose, you don't work hard for your money. You're like, I'm working. I'm doing what I love. This is who I am. People say, you must be tired from traveling. This is who I am. So I'm not doing something. I'm being something. So this is how we know that we're on our soul path. So you have a lot of different opportunities to jump in with us. And I love to have you up here physically and play with the drum and play with all this shamanic work, because it really does deepen and enrich. This is why our native people did ceremony for all of these shields and did work with all of this power, because we know that we can access our own soul directly.
Awesome. So for those that are looking on how to continue like opening up your soul purpose and really diving in at a deeper level, we started in the very beginning about talking about diving deep. Like this is like deep stuff, right? And so we're not just like waving around stuff, like we're going deep. So if that's, if you're feeling resonant, if you're feeling called towards that, and even just if you want to know like more ways that your spirit's talking to you, I love that you have the 10 ways that spirit's talking. I get the Holy Trinity all the time. I love that one. It's like, oh, yep, there it is again, keeping the eyes out for that. So you can go ahead, click the link right below here and go ahead and get connected, tuned in, and listening. More deeper listening happening.
And I love getting emails where people are sharing what they're learning from their own soul and the journaling and all of that. And we have so much great breath work and dynamic work that you can do for every one of these. And we have a group now that is so excited that they're paired up for 10 weeks. And now they just decided to do another 10 weeks together because they're learning so much by doing the activities together. And so they're paired up from around the world. We have South Africa, Canada, all over the US, where else? Australia, and people are just enjoying the deepening of the actual teachings. Because it's one thing to hear them, but then we've got to be able to integrate it. You know, we've got to be able to track it. So these are really great tracking tools that you can use in those 5 drivers of the soul, these wonderful shields. And you can contact me at any time to do the deeper work on balancing your own shields. I had a woman in Europe who had been with a man for so many years that she had not left her career. And she was trying to leave her husband for 20 years. Now, we don't encourage anybody to have to leave a relationship for that long, but she couldn't leave because when we got her in her man shield, she said, I don't feel anything here. I can't relate to it. I don't have this. I don't get it. I think my husband sits here. And I'm like, your husband is in your shields? This is the true meaning of codependency. So when we don't have those shields online for ourselves, and we're plugged into somebody else, which is what we say, we're plugged in with our umbilicus, then we can't function. So, you know, taking back these shields and pushing other people out of our chair, so to speak, and reclaiming that as woman to be fully whole, because every woman has a dragon woman. She gives birth, you know, she just has to re-tap it, you know, she has an inner man, you know, she has all of these things. So it's about balancing and bringing them all online and to get along. This is what family system analysis was all about when the alcoholic had to come in and say, well, it's about the whole family. Well, it's the same about our issues. We say, part of me wants to do this and part of me wants to do that. We're talking about the shields. We're talking about different personas. And the important thing is that we get them all saying yes. So if one of them is not online, we have to find out why. And then we'll know and have true power to go forward. And then we're unstoppable in the world. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you. Thank you for being so generous with your time and your teachings. And I'm just feeling really grateful. Thank you so much. Ladies, we want to know in the Facebook group. So I would love to hear from you. What shield for you is coming up that you're like, oh, this is the one that I need to activate or the one I need to pay more attention to. I'd love to see in the group, like what that shows up, what that is for you, as well as if you had any ahas, things that stood out for you. I had so many little things that like I wrote down. It's like, oh, like synchronicity is the way of the soul, Holy Trinity. We don't call the qualified, we qualify the called. Like any like of those aha moments that you're like, share in the group and let's connect. And here we go. Diving deeper, soul purpose.
Diving deeper, down into the soul. Bless you all.
Aloha. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time. Okay, bye now.